I live in South Dakota, here in the Midwest of the United States, and we're blessed with all four seasons. We go through them all. And even right now, as I record this, we are gearing up towards winter. Things are getting cold and windy and dark. It's so amazing that our bodies adapt to the seasons. So we know that in the summertime, when it's so bright so much of the day, we find ourselves staying awake more of the day, going to bed later and maybe getting up earlier and spending more time outside. Or when it's the winter time and maybe things are a little bit darker and the sun goes down sooner, we find ourselves maybe sleeping more or having less energy, spending more time indoors. Our body even emits a chemical called melatonin that helps us fall asleep, get tired when it's dark. It's amazing. And so we know that if the sun is shining, it's probably not the best time to be sleeping. Our bodies know that. I think of you parents of teenagers. Maybe you've had the experience during the summer where you've gone down at noon and you've seen your child, your son or daughter, maybe still sleeping or laying on the couch, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, it's summer, it's beautiful outside. Like, quit sleeping the day away. You're supposed to be alive and enjoy yourself. St. Paul in this month's Word of Life tells us that we as Christians, we are not children of darkness or of night, but rather we are children of light and the day. In other words, St. Paul is telling us that we are meant to stay awake and not fall asleep when we shouldn't. There are different ways, I think, that we fall asleep in our life of faith. Sometimes that can look like maybe avoiding prayer, because maybe we think that prayer is a waste of time, or that prayer is not helpful because I'm always just distracted when I try to pray, or I don't want to pray because there's so much good I could be doing elsewhere. And yet, to stay awake, to be a children of light and of the day, means I recognize that prayer sustains me in all that I do. It's through prayer that I come into friendship with God. It's through prayer that I'm able to find that union with Christ, which allows me to live. And so I stay awake and I pray. Sometimes we can fall asleep in our community life. Community is hard. It's hard to love others. It's hard to live around others. And sometimes in our life of faith, we maybe start to think, well, wouldn't it be just a whole lot easier if it was just me and Jesus and I didn't need to worry about all these other people? And yet we know that Jesus is found in the midst of a community. And it's precisely through sometimes those difficult moments, those moments of suffering where I have to stretch myself, that I actually discover the most fruit in my life of faith. And so I can stay awake to community and keep leaning into it, even when it's hard. Finally, I think sometimes we can fall asleep in our life of faith when it just comes to staying in the present moment. I know I am so guilty of this. And so if you're a student, it can be hard to just stay focused on what you're supposed to do by studying. If you have a job somewhere, it can be hard just to stay focused and in the present moment, doing your job well. If you're a parent, it can be easy to get distracted and to lose sight of your vocation to love your children, to love your spouse. As a priest, I can get distracted and want to be somewhere else and maybe lose focus on what's in front of me in the present moment to celebrate a sacrament or to be present to a person I'm meeting with. And yet it's in the present moment that I discover who God is. Now here's the thing. As I live into that present moment, as I stay awake, I discover that my soul is like my body. You know, our bodies get used to the light and they want to stay awake. And as my soul gets used to the presence of God in prayer, in community, in the present moment, I find myself staying awake more because I want to meet God and I want to be with him always. I don't want to fall asleep on God. So this month, let's be children of light and of the day, not children of night or the darkness. Let's stay awake to the presence of God in our lives. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to keep up with other great content to help you live your life of unity with God and with one another, make sure you subscribe to Focolare Media so that you can continue to live your divine adventure.